Hi everybody. Today I'm going to try something different. Wanted to be a little creative, and so there's two purposes of this video. One is the book I'm going to read to you, The Story of Ferdinand, is an oldie and a goodie, and I think it is a model of excellent parenting by Ferdinand's mom, who, spoiler alert, she's a cow. And also, we can look at it from the framework of internal family systems because you'll see Ferdinand has many different parts of himself that get activated. And also, I know many of my followers have DID, and some of the feedback I've gotten is the little parts, the little ones. I shouldn't even say parts because that can be offensive. Some of the little ones watching really enjoy hearing my voice or find me soothing, or they know that I'm talking to them. So this is for them. I'm going to read a book that they might enjoy. And it just might be a time of soothing and relaxing. And also, what a great story. It's a classic. And it is The Story of Ferdinand. It's a huge book. I remember being a kid and my mom would read it to me, and it wasn't this huge. But this was a Christmas present from my parents to my daughter, actually, many, many moons ago. And this book by Monroe Leaf, drawings by Robert Lawson, was first published in 1936. And it's still relevant, I think. So, can you see this? Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He liked to just sit quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Isn't he cute? Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. "I like it better here, where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers." Isn't this great? His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. So she checked on him. He was good. She didn't try to make him be anybody that he wasn't. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to just sit quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. All the other bulls ran around, snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. Oh boy. Well, he didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? you would sting him. And that is just what this bee did to Ferdinand. Wow, did it hurt. Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The 5 men saw him and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. So they took him away for the bullfight in a cart. What a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the bandoleros with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. Next came the picadors, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. I don't like that. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull, and you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and the bandoleros were afraid of him, and the picadors were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. Isn't he cute? Well, he wouldn't fight and be fierce, no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the bandoleros were mad, and the picadors were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and sword. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he is sitting there still, under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly, and he is very happy. The end. So Ferdinand, to me, that's his true self. And IFS, underneath all of our parts, is a sweet, connected, creative, caring, compassionate self. And he got hurt, and out came this firefighter part that looked really scary and fierce. And that's what the bullfighters wanted. And then his true self came back out. And what I love most, and I actually did a paper on this in graduate school, his mother totally accepted him. She checked, kind of held the space, how you doing? And then she trusted him that he's happy. And I believe him and let him just be who he was. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you get outside and smell the flowers like Ferdinand. Till next time.